What's up guys, I'm back like I never left. In this video I'm going to be talking about the top stocks and penny stocks to watch for this upcoming week. There are going to be a lot of companies that are going to be reporting earnings and they're going to be making insane moves either to the upside or to the downside, guys. So there's a lot of opportunities that is waiting for us for this upcoming week, guys. So I'm going to go through exactly what I'm expecting in these top 10 stocks and penny stocks. I'm also going to be going over exactly what are the economic reports that is going to potentially affect the stock market for tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to be going over that important information coming up. Alright guys, so before we get into the video, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions or any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below, guys. So one of the important stocks that I've been getting asked is these two penny stocks. We got OPTI and Kronos. So I'm going to be tackling these two penny stocks at the beginning of the video. I know a lot of people had questions about them. There is a potential for these penny stocks, but when you look at exactly how they traded in the past and what is their potential, as you can see, these stocks at the beginning of the year was literally trading at zero. So there was no demand for these stocks. But however, due to the pandemic and some of the products that these companies produce, they are getting attraction. So people are expecting that these companies are going to grow in the future. And also, as you can see, these stocks can make significant moves. So if you're a person that bought these stocks at a low price, you're probably sitting around 400% return at one point in time if you held your position. And if you're still holding the stock right now, you're probably up 300 to 400% if you bought it right away. So is there potential for these companies in the short term? Definitely, but you also need to be super careful when you are getting involved in these stocks. So if you have a major return, if the stock goes up 100 to 200 to 300%, ideally it's important to lock in your profits, because when they dip, when they go down, they also go down significantly. As you can see over here, this time when it had a pullback, it went down 50%. So their pullbacks are going to be super nasty, but you can definitely add to your position if you believe there's going to be a potential for the future. But I highly recommend when I get involved in these sketchy OTC market trading stocks, I lock in profits. And if I believe the company has a potential in the future, then you can just hold onto your shares for the future. So but ideally lock in your profits. So the second stock, of course, that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be Kronos. So yes, these stocks can make insane moves to the upsides. Just as you can see, Kronos, it made 3,000% move, 3,800% move. So just be aware that when you're buying the company right now, you're buying a company that already made thousands of percent gains. So there's a lot of people that are holding the stock that got involved over here. Just think about that. They might be able to sell out and lock in their profits to you when you're buying them at this insane amount of percentage high prices. So be super careful. But of course, as I always say, there's potential for these companies if they can be successful to the future. But as I just mentioned, for a PTI stock, be really smart about how you approach these companies, because you never know what is going to happen, and their pullbacks, of course, are nasty too. You can add to your positions, or you can just sell them when they spike right at the top if you believe that these companies are not going to be successful in the future. But I want to give you I'm going to show you exactly an example of a company that got successful, that it was a penny stock, right? So we got AMD stock. As you currently see, it's currently $77.43, and it made 4,000% move, and it used to be a penny stock 5 years ago. It used to be $2, $1.82. So you cannot underestimate these companies. Even though these two stocks are trading over the counter, you might not know what's going to happen in the future. And I know people are talking about there's going to be Shark Tank opportunity for OPTI, and Kronos is going to be also getting some kind of a deal pretty soon. So that is one of some of the things that you can speculate upon. But of course, when speculation, there's risk. And if the risk pays out, you're going to get paid out pretty good. So that is one of the important things that you need to be aware of. So now let's look at what are the top stocks that are going to be reporting earnings this upcoming week, guys. We have a lot. We have action-packed stocks. I've picked 8 of the companies that I'm going to be personally watching and I might place a trade on these companies. So we got on Monday, the companies that I'm going to be eyeing on is going to be Virgin Galactic, that's going to be reporting earnings. After hours, we also have Solar Edge. We got AIG. It's also another company that I might be eyeing, but my main focus on Monday is going to be Virgin Galactic. But also before market open, we got Tyson Foods. That is a stock that moves a lot too on earnings, but are already going to be reporting earnings that might have a potential continuation to the upside or to the downside. So that is a company to keep an eye on too. As we move on to Tuesday, we have three companies that I'm going to be really paying attention to. We got Beyond Meats. That is a company that makes significant moves. We also have Nikola stock, which is from electric vehicle sector. So this is going to be their first earnings. So we're going to see how their company is going to trade when they announce probably a pretty bad earnings. But you never know, because even though the company might report bad earnings, the stock can either go up or it can crash. So you never know. You just have to be really smart how you position yourself if you're gonna get involved or trading these companies on earnings. So, and the other company that I'm gonna be paying attention to is gonna be TWLO. Is gonna be ticker symbol TWLO. So these three stocks I'm gonna be paying attention to. I'm gonna be talking in detail about the technical analysis also pretty soon, but I'm just going to be covering right now what are the companies reporting earnings. So on Wednesday too, we have Moderna before market open. This is going to be a company that is actively working right now to provide solution for the pandemic. They're getting super close with their vaccines. So pretty soon on November, they're going to be announcing the results for the phase 3 trial they're undergoing right now. They probably have 30,000 people that are going to be participating. And a lot of people, a lot of the medical community have their eyes on this company to provide vaccine pretty soon. And the results are going to be super anticipated. And they've been getting a lot of funding by the government also to get this vaccine up and running. So that is a company to keep an eye on. Their earnings going to be super interesting. We're probably going to see an upside move, I'm guessing, but you still never know what's going to happen. We also have CVS Health. And we also have after hours, the two high growth companies reporting earnings. The first one's going to be Square. The second one's going to be ROKU. ROKU is a company that makes significant moves to the upside, especially just like Netflix, because these is a staying at home stock. So when people are not going outside, not going to work, kids are in the house, they're probably going to be watching TV, Netflix. And this is a platform that people use, which is to watch Netflix and other like Hulu and things like that in this device. So they're probably going to have a lot of sales and things like that. So we're going to see how their earnings is going to be reported. So maybe estimates are anticipating there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Maybe they can under deliver. The stock might go down, might go up, but there's going to be definitely a volatility going to be happening in this company. Also, Square has been just going on a monstrous move to the upside. So I'm going to keeping an eye on these two companies on Wednesday. When we move on to Thursday, we have Uber that's going to be reporting earnings after hours. We got Dropbox, AT&T, and also before market open, we got Wix.com. So this is also a company we need to really pay attention to, because this is a stay-at-home stock. This is a software. When people work from home, they build websites and they create these websites for people to come visit. So this is a company that can significantly have a fantastic move to the upside, just like Shopify. So just this company is just like Shopify. So that is really an important company to keep an eye on. So on Friday we got Noble Energies, but now let's look at the companies that I'm personally going to keep an eye on, and let's look at the technical analysis. So as you can see, the first stock that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is going to be Virgin Galactic. Of course, they released their cabin, and unfortunately the stock sold off to the news. People are anticipating that the stock is going to go up, but as you know, there's going to be buy the rumor, sell the news events. So when they basically showed their cabin, the stock eventually sold off and the excitement just faded away, and the stock eventually pulled back. So the key resistance price point, support price point that we can use over here is going to be the $20. So we'll see if the stock, if their earnings is pretty bad, if they can drastically sell to the downside. But the stock can also move significantly on earnings. So you're definitely going to keep an eye on Virgin Galactic Holdings. That is going to be reporting earnings next week. So the other company also is going to be Beyond Meat. Now this company on earnings, it can get crushed. Few months ago, it was trading at around below $60. Now it's doubled that 100%. It's at $120 right now, $125. And you see this huge gap up, gap downs. This is mainly due to earnings. So there's going to be a great opportunity, great volatility when it comes to this company. If you want to get involved in it and see if there's going to be a continuation move that's going to happen after they report their earnings. This is mainly due to, as you can see, the share outstanding of the float is 61 million. The share of the float that is available for the public is 54 million. So when there's a lot of supply or there's a lot of demand, the stock really, you can see it on the charts and on the price action. So that is one of the important things that we're going to be keeping an eye on due to having this low float of this company. So now let's move on to the other company, which is an electric vehicle company called NKLA, ticker symbol NKLA. Now this company, I'm really excited to see how this company is going to behave after they announce their earnings. As you can see, there's been a lot of institution transaction that's been happening. A lot of insiders, the PIP investors, been cashing out and locking in their profit, of course. 107.58% transactions been happening. Institutional ownership currently is only 11.10%, and the insider ownership is 0.7%. Even the CEO cashed out, a few months ago, which is kind of funny. But we'll see exactly how this company is going to behave. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. Now let's move on to Moderna. This is a company that is making significant moves. As you can see over here, it can just drop to the downside. There's beautiful continuation. If it starts to pick a direction, it can just go down. And if it starts to pick a direction to the upside too, it can just have multiple continuous days. So that is a beautiful thing to see. So if the earnings is going to be pretty bad and the stock continues to go to the downside, we are definitely going to be expecting a huge move. And when the stock announces a positive news, the stock gaps up and it pulls back. So over here that we got the phase 3 trial for the vaccines. As you can see over here, the stock gapped up to 80, and we talked about the stock will eventually going to be selling off to the downside, and we expect to have a very good support area right around over here at like 66, and that's going to be a great opportunity for us to get involved in it for anticipation of a swing trade for this upcoming November announcement of the results. So that is going to be one of the things that we're going to be keeping an eye on. And if the earnings reports are going to be pretty bad, the stock might continue to sell off and give us even more opportunity to get involved in it for our swing trades. So that's definitely going to be the company that we're going to keep an eye on. And also institutional ownership of this company is 51.1%. So the other company that we talked about is ROKU. This is a company that makes huge moves, not only on earnings days, but afterwards. It has continuous days. So as you can see, we have this huge gap ups that happen over here, gap down that happen over here, and the gap up, sell off, gap down, gap up. So they can have definitely big moves, mainly because of this stock is super volatile. A lot of people are getting involved in it and selling it off due to the pandemic right now, and there's a lot of people that are ordering this company, ordering their products. So they're staying at home, they're watching Netflix and Hulu on their products. So we'll see exactly how this stock is going to behave when it comes to earnings. So, and also you see that there's 70% of institutional ownership of this company. So you see these huge drops that happen. This is mainly when these institutions decide to sell their shares due to maybe bad earnings, or they change, the analysts downgrades them. There's huge banks or hedge funds, they have their own analysts, and then when the analysts reduce their expectations and reduce the price point, they dump their shares right at the same time, or a few days earlier before they announce it. So that is one of the key things that we need to keep aware of, and we'll definitely keep an eye on ROKU stock. So the other stock is definitely going to be a sister clone of Shopify. This is Wix. It's in the software infrastructure sector, and as you can see, it's just been ripping to the upside. It made a significant move, and 96.38% of these company shares are held by institutions, and you better believe they bought it right around over here, because the volume has not been there over here. The volume decreased, but the stock just continues to go to the upside, and they're more than likely going to have a solid earnings due to the pandemic. A lot of business owners are going online, and they have to create a website for their businesses to get any kind of exposure online and social medias and etc, etc. So Shopify had reported earnings and it just made significant, it went above $1,000. So that is an insane move. So I'm expecting that this stock is going to have a similar move, probably going to break out above the $300 area. And I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this stock. And it's beautiful because the share of the float is also very, very small. I like it for that reason too. So the other company we're going to be looking at is going to be Norwegian Cruise Lines, ticker symbol NCLH. Now this company's been beaten down a lot. It only has very, very awesome continuous like 100% moves within like 2-3 weeks, mainly due to a positive anticipation of a vaccine or just the market just rallying. It just goes up significantly. But if there's no news about vaccines or any hopeful solutions for the pandemic, this stock just continues to trend to the downside. But if there's going to be a vaccine or a solution that's going to be announced pretty soon, this stock really has the potential to triple and go to like $30, the resistance that we have over here, which is a top over here. It can go to like 28.30. There's high potential for this company. So, but in the short term, we know that it's probably not going to be any changes that's going to happen. Their earnings probably going to be pretty bad, and we'll see how everything's going to be showing. So, and also the share of the float is 254 million shares, and a lot of people also are shorting it. 20.7% of individuals are shorting this stock, and institutional ownership is 66.5%. So I'm going to just keep an eye on this company. If it just goes down and below, it goes down to like $10 and things like that. So the other company also we're going to be looking at is going to be ticker symbol TWLO. This is also in internet content and information within that sector. As you can see, these stocks are just super solid because they're online. A lot of people are just going online these days for their businesses, for their education, and these sectors are hot and their earnings are going to also be super hot. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this stock for a potential breakout, making all-time highs again, another 52-week all-time highs due to their solid earnings. So we'll see how this earnings is going to be going on. So also the institutional ownership is 97.5%, and you better believe they got involved in it right around over here. You see the volume, just massive amounts of volume right around over here, guys. So if you want to see exactly how I execute my trades, you can join the Patreon page. That's going to give you access to our Discord chat where I post my live trades. And also I want to give a huge shout out to our recent Patreons. Really thank you for joining. I really appreciate you guys. So now let's look at the important economic reports for tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. We got the manufacturing PMI for the period of July. The previous one is 51.3. At 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got the ISM Manufacturing Index. It's going to be for the period of July. The previous one is 52.6%. Also at 10 a.m. we got the construction spending. It's going to be for the period of June. The previous one was negative 2.1%. And we have motor vehicle sales. That's going to be reported. They didn't have any specific time that these reports are going to be out. The previous is going to be for July, and the previous month was 13.1 million. So these numbers are either higher or lower. The stocks and these specific sectors are going to make significant moves either to the upside or to the downside. So make sure you keep an eye on it. And all of these times are also in Eastern Standard Time. So hope to see you guys on tomorrow's video, guys. Have a wonderful day.